Do you ever find yourself kind of lost when a connection ends, whether it be a romantic relationship, a friendship, or maybe a family relationship that's kind of met its end? And you might wonder, what do I do with these feelings of loss? So the first thing is to recognize that all beginnings end in parting. And so this experience that we experience is just part of being human. Of course, we can have other viewpoints about what happens after the fact, but it's helpful to first recognize that this is normal. There's a tendency when kind of the natural laws of reality occur, like things are impermanent, that our ego has a tendency to want to personalize everything and make it about ourselves. And it's interesting because our ego never makes it about ourselves in a way that's constructive or helpful. It makes it about ourselves in a way that doesn't help. Like we start to feel like we're not lovable, or that we made mistakes, or how we could have done things differently. The reality is you didn't. And if you're going to use those lessons, so things do end, and the first thing to look at is, was there anything I could have done different within my capacity? So sometimes when I talk to people, what they think they should do, they don't really have that capacity to do that. So that's not really a realistic expectation. So you go through and you look at, what could I have done differently? The other piece that becomes really important is to start to recognize your own regrets of how you refuse to see certain things that person was showing you. Everyone has red flags. Healthy people have red flags. But it's really important to kind of look at those and look at, is this feasible with these red flags? And there's a tendency for us to not do that. And then the further part to look at is how we violated ourselves. So oftentimes when I'm helping someone heal from loss, that is this part that they often won't get to, because they think that means that they're bad or something like that, or that it somehow takes away from the hurt they experience. It doesn't take away from the hurt you experience. But what I notice when people have really deep hurt, there's a lot of ways that they refuse to see what was, and because they had a fantasy. And when that fantasy ends, they feel a sense of loss because they violated themselves in order to maintain this fantasy. And I think we can grow from that as people if we can look at it more objectively, instead of attacking ourselves or blaming other people, but really looking at moving forward. Maybe where can I see that I have blind spots? So I hope that that's helpful.